Wow, that was abrupt. Hey, welcome to Pour Over Marketing Happy Hour. This is it. I told you we were going to start doing Thursday nights in July, and here we are. My happy hour is just coffee, just so you know. Doesn't mean that at some point there might not be something more, because I have a feeling a lot of us out there are going to probably start drinking after a day like today. But they don't win. We win. We're doing our thing. We're making our businesses grow. We're figuring out our marketing. We're figuring out all the things. And hopefully we'll have some people watching today that'll jump in and have some questions. Because here's the thing. I'll put down about our Saturday show. This is an experiment. We're trying to figure out A/B testing here. A/B testing, like any good marketer will. We're trying to figure out what Saturday and Thursday look like. So technically, what I think I want to do is make Thursday night be more pointed, I think. So it's almost more like a lecture. So like when we did Integrated Marketing Palooza in July, it would be on here. Oh, it is July, but it would be on here where we take a subject like, okay, today we're going to talk about newsletters. We're going to talk about SEO. We're going to talk about fine tuning your stuff, whatever it is. And then Saturdays make that more of a wide open AMA. Although the other part of my brain says, well, that's not necessarily the best way to do it, because I'm trying to follow the audience. If there are more people on Thursday night, that might be a better chance for you to ask questions. And it might be smarter to do this as an AMA. Have like preset questions that or things we're going to address. So when people write in with questions, I can say, here are some things we're going to talk about tonight. And then you can ask questions. And then Saturday morning, we treat it more like on topic. Maybe I have a guest here and there. I'm getting closer to what I think is going to work. I don't know. I don't know yet. But hey, it's happy hour. So hopefully we'll get some people in here that are going to ask some questions, and we can just kind of roll with the punches on this. Hopefully you guys have had a good week. I have no idea. I didn't even know what day it was. So did I have a good week? I think so. Yeah, I mean, I had a birthday this week. I had fun with my family. We did some fun stuff. Molly, my daughter, did a live concert. She went to an indie music night, and this theater we went to was great. Now, from the outside, it looks okay. Talk about curb appeal. Curb appeal, their sign, pretty good. They are missing a marketing thing here. They've really got to get their curb appeal under control, because when you go in, it is a fabulous theater. So they have a main big theater. This is in Des Plaines. They have this big theater area, which of course I saw that, and right away I'm like, could we fill this with a podcast marathon? Could we fill this with whatever, right? I get excited by that kind of stuff. And no, I could not. It's too big for where we're at right now. But someday. Anyway, upstairs where Molly was, it said it was in Brass and Bourbon, or Bourbon and Brass, which is a speakeasy in this theater. You got to take the elevator up, you check in, and then there's a bookshelf that you got to pull open, and inside is a speakeasy. The speakeasy. Well, the theater was great. I was really impressed. I was like, wow, this is great. But the speakeasy, which is where Molly played, it's so freaking cool. Great aesthetic. Great, like all the way around. Are there things I would suggest they do? Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about, getting all your stuff in order. So they had a bartender who was really nice. Okay. And she was doing a great job of selling. She saw us in the hallway. She started talking us up like, hey, it's happy hour and blah, blah, blah. Great. So all those marketing things, spot on, right? They had signs like Wednesday night they do jazz. I'm like, hey, I saw the signs. I'm into it. We saw some of the bands that are coming. It was all cool. They did all that right. It was the outside needs help. You don't know how good it is in there. And it's not like a speakeasy where it's kind of something else on the outside and then cool on the inside. It looks like kind of a dumpy old theater on the outside, but inside, fantastic, right? So the bartender was great, but here's where they missed an opportunity. This is one of those things when I talk about like getting your marketing in order, getting your house in order, right? Missed opportunity. What did we do? We got in there. I'm taking these off. I don't need them. Oh God, I'm almost bald. Uh, I looked. We get in there and we're all talking about how it's a speakeasy and it's got this cool furniture and it's got these cool things, lots of cool aesthetics around. They have a stage at the end, which is where Molly played. The whole thing we really, really, really liked. And where they missed the ball is you have this really good bartender, really nice, really cool, and she's selling you, but that's their job, right? Uh, but what did our friends do? My wife and the friends immediately they're like, "Oh, it's a speakeasy. I bet they have like drinks from speakeasy." So they started looking it up on their phone, and they found this like crazy one that was like, I don't know, squirrel spleen or something, something ridiculous. And they're like, "What is in that?" And it had like absinthe and bourbon and pineapple, just like this weird combination of things, right? And they got all excited. And then they were like, "Oh, there's other things." From that time, there were a lot of things. I used to have a drink, even though we're not big drinkers, I had a drink recipe book from that time. It was an actual speakeasy one. The cover was wood. It was very weird. Um, and they had a lot of these drinks that they call them flips. So they'd have like a bourbon flip. It was bourbon with a raw egg in it. Okay. These are the types of drinks they had. Well, that's what they got excited. They're like, "Oh, we're in this speakeasy. Do they have speakeasy type drinks? Like, do they have a weird menu?" That's a missed opportunity. They did not. They didn't even know what they were talking about. And it's like, you know what? You don't have to have a massive menu of these things. Have a speakeasy special. Maybe you have 3 drinks that are specific to that era that are interesting. Get your signage so it says something, so it looks like of the time. That was the only thing that I was like, you missed an opportunity here. Because me, not really a drinker, okay? When they brought up this, whatever it was, squirrel spleen or something, it's not that. It's not that, trust me. But when it said it, I thought, well, am I driving? Maybe I'd try one because it sounded really interesting. Missed opportunity. The other slight missed opportunity is my mom was there. She got a glass of wine. They served it in a little plastic cup. Now you have this cool aesthetic. You have this nice looking bar. You get glassware. And if you can't have glassware because of washing or like, who knows, it might not be set up, then you get plasticware that looks better than a little plastic cup. To me, it's like you've devalued so much when you do that. If you watch, I know you guys know I do this, but if you watch like Bar Rescue, that's a big thing. If they ever serve in plastic, he always freaks out. You can't charge the way you would. It's plastic. And they have had shows where they're like, "Look, we're only zoned. We can only do plastic." Okay. Then you need to get plastic that has the curb appeal. You can do it. It might cost you a little bit more, but let's face it, if you've got a glass of wine and you're able to charge $5 for that glass of wine, and really, if you divide the bottle of wine up, it's probably worth about $1 per glass, maybe $2. If your plasticware costs you a little extra, it's all right. Because if you have something attractive, like if it's me and I get a glass of wine and it comes in a little cup, I'm gonna drink one, I'm done. It's, but if you've got the glass, they come by, "Do you want more?" You know what? Yeah, I'll take some more because there's a vibe to it. And think about your business. Think about, are there vibes? Are there things like that you're not connecting the dots on? I know I have plenty of them. It's why I talk about having a blueprint and thinking about every little aspect. And when you think you've got it right, go ahead, move on to the next thing, but then come back and look at it. Try to be objective. What do I like? What does my customer like? Because I'm telling you, those were, as much as we had a great time and Molly was fantastic, those little touches were things I noticed that I thought, missed opportunity. Now, granted, does everybody think that way? No, I'm a marketing nerd, right? I think about those things. We go into a restaurant and I'm looking at how everything is, the menu, the staff, the whatever. We go to we go to see we saw a band, and I'm sitting there watching the band that was after Molly, and they were really good, but producer me and marketing me was like, here are 5 things I need to fix with this band now. Guess what? Some of it was curb appeal. They looked frumpy. Your bass player needs, you guys got to look like rock stars, or you got to get a vibe. You got to get an aesthetic, right? I remember I worked on a voiceover thing for a band named Polera. They were one of these grunge bands in the 90s that got real buzzy. They were like the #1 MTV buzz clip for a long time. They were on Interscope Records, and they were kind of poised to be the next Smashing Pumpkins, because Smashing Pumpkins had kind of drifted into the electronica, and that this was like, it's back. And they were really very good. And then Disney bought all the alternative stations, and that game was over. But I don't mean to complain about it. But with Polera, I remember when I was working on the video, my friend that was producing the video and was, he had written the script and had me doing this. He was saying, like, pictures would come up that we were trying to match things to, and he'd say, oh, well, the drummer finally made a decision on his vibe. He wears vintage tees and a trucker hat. And then I noticed every picture he was in a vintage tee and a trucker hat. The lead singer had like a button-down shirt. He had like what I'm wearing, but his might have like design to it. Nothing, super fancy, nothing to take away, but that was his, like, it looked good on him. It set him apart. Whereas when we saw this band the other night, their curb appeal was the lead guy, the guitar player, I should say, who sang. He had on a T-shirt that you couldn't really read what was going on or understand what was going on, but it wasn't like cool like that, Like I would have said, in his case, if they're going for a certain like T-shirt rock vibe, wear a T-shirt of a band, like a concert tee that's really cool, or something really alternative. Like, and I don't mean it's an alternative band, but something really alternative. Like I remember seeing Charlie, Charlie Day. I can't think of his real name, from It's Always Sunny. He actually has a T-shirt company, and his character wears these T-shirts all the time. He designs them. Okay. They don't market it that way. It's just something I'd read about him. He was like, oh yeah, he makes these T-shirts and he'll wear them. And people are like, where do I buy them? He's like, oh, I don't really, like, I make them, and I have like a TeePublic shop, but nobody knows it's me. It's like very, very funny. But he had like one that was the jackalope in a fist fight with a leprechaun. And it was a really cool shirt. That's the kind of thing that this lead should be doing, is something cool, different. You got to get that aesthetic right. The bass player, fantastic bass player, complete train wreck visually. He had on look like ill-fitting pants and kind of ill-fitting weird shoes, and then a T-shirt that was like I would do the yard work in and immediately be told, take that off, put something on, because you are going to be seen by people. So, like, once again, think about those things. I know you think, well, what does it matter? It does. I was helping produce at when we went to this one church. They asked me to help produce the music one day, and I worked with the band and did the things, like got the sound right and everything. And then I told them, because as they were performing before everybody got there, I'm like, this is what you're going to wear? I'm like, oh yeah. Okay, well, you don't even look like the A band at the church. You look like 5 people that walked up there out of the audience, not expecting to be seen in public. So you need to figure out how to find your inner rock star. And the lead guy who was going to be singing and playing, he was like, well, so I got to change. And I was like, well, your shirt's, yeah, it doesn't look, you're not going to command attention. You want to draw their attention. You want that marketing in place, right? And he went home and he grabbed this paisley shirt and it looked really good. And people were afterwards, I remember them coming up being like, oh man, Dave, where'd you get that shirt? That's really cool. And he was like, oh yeah, I've had it. I just don't wear this. I'm like, yeah, you should wear that. People notice. They may not notice what's wrong, but they know something's wrong. Or when it's improved, they notice. Look at me. When I wear something like this that looks good, when my hair is cut, I don't have the clown stuff coming out of the sides, it looks better. I look more professional. I got new glasses. They look more professional, right? Something's got to help me. Okay, that was a long diatribe. It's happy hour. I want to know what you guys are thinking about. I want to know what kind of questions you have. Usually I get inundated with authors at this time. Tonight we don't have a lot of people here, probably because it was all like I didn't really market it because this is an experiment. Here's what we'll do. Oh, and we will have our normal show Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, right here. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central. So that's one thing that's interesting. I've been doing a lot of market research, asking people that I know listen or that have listened or that say, oh, I wish I could listen. I ask about the time. And it's funny because there's 2 camps. One camp is you get up too early on Saturday. I always miss it. Then I ask, do you watch the video? I didn't know there was video. Okay. Got to fix that. I got to make it so people know they can watch this anytime, which is funny because when I look at my numbers of people watching later, this show does way better after the fact. Okay. The other camp is, no, I love Saturday morning. And they get what that vibe is supposed to be. Now, originally it was going to be me in a robe because that's what I look like on Saturday morning, is sitting and drinking coffee and just chatting with you guys. But it turned into hyper me talking about marketing and people asking questions. And it took a completely different turn. Now we're at a crossroads. We're adding Thursday nights. I think we're going to start with twice a month. So whatever around the 1st and the Thursday after the 15th, Thursday after the 1st, Thursday after the 15th. Those will be the 2 times. And Saturdays at 8 a.m. So now that we have that kind of established, once again, I'm going back to how do we want to do this? I read an interesting thing today. They were talking about taking a show, making it successful, a show like I do, like this new media stuff. And I disagree with this. Okay. I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm not staunchly disagreeing with it. It said, how do you make it? I've done a show for X amount of years. How do I make it successful? And it's pretty logical stuff I've talked about on here a lot, stuff I've talked about as the podcast prof a lot. And with our networks and that, I've always talked about this stuff. But one thing that this person said that was different that I had not heard was don't do so many interviews. Okay. So I read the blurb they had about that. And I thought that's really weird. Why would you not do interviews? Because interviews seem to be the lifeblood, right? And I do really well by doing more interviews. And their thought, which this is where I'm saying I don't disagree with them. I just don't agree with them. What a weird way to say it. But I don't disagree. Their thought was when you do a lot of interviewing, so if you have a blog, if you have a podcast, if you have a video show, and every episode is interviews, and you're trying to use it to market your business or what have you, when you do a lot of interviews, or if it's always interviews, what you're doing is you're taking yourself out of the authority position. They start associating the people you have as the authorities, not you. You're not the expert. So I question, I mean, I get that. There are shows like my shows, Alley Chats is all interviews. It's not trying to market me as an expert. I'm trying to promote them, interviews. New Media Lab, the way I've been designing it is interviews, but there's going to be this, it's going to have this content as well. So you have the authority, you have the expert, and then you have me interviewing people, which I have some really good ones coming up. Finally. I'll tell you about that in a second too. But so I agree. If I only had interviews on there and I didn't do content outside of that, why would anybody hire me? Because all I'm doing is asking questions and I never have an idea. But I don't say that's what makes you successful, because if your show is interviewing people, absolutely make sure you're interviewing people. There's a newsletter I get. In fact, I'm going to look it up while we're talking because it's really great. And I think it's hidden in this file. It is. It's really great. It's called The Creative Independent. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can find a subscription thing in here so I can pull it up. I can't. Not that quickly. Let's see if they have a website on here. I really love this newsletter. And I think everybody should read it. I find it inspiring. But the bottom line is, it is, here, I'm going to put it right in here. I'll put it in the comments so you can check it out. It is literally all interviews. I don't know who runs what on there. I don't associate it with a person. So that could be the negative. If you're trying to build your brand and you're the speaker for the brand, well, then you have to do authority-driven stuff. If the point is, like with Creative Independent, at least the point I see is sharing knowledge, these cool interviews that get you thinking, get you involved, then why would you insert yourself? Make sense? I hope so. It does to me. Happy hour. I'm going to have a drink. My giant Marvel mug. It's got my guys here. Daredevil. Spider-Man. Actually, I like all of them. But when I was in high school and when I was a kid, when I was in high school, Daredevil became my guy. Before that, it was Spider-Man. And then Daredevil was in a Spider-Man issue, and I was like, who is this? And then it became, even though I knew who he was, I hadn't really read him. And then I became addicted to both. To this day, those are probably my two favorite of the superhero comics, barring Batman, which is DC. So once again, I mean, when you start talking about that stuff, the iconography, the curb appeal that they infuse in that stuff is crazy. When you talk curb appeal for Creative Independent, I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see what the curb appeal is there. This is really funny. In fact, this is a great example of curb appeal that is minimalist, we'll say. Okay, let me find it. Creative Independent. Then I got to share it on here. So many things I have to click to get there. Share screen. Share screen. This is their website. So there's not, if you want to talk curb appeal and you want to talk what I'm talking about, you think that I mean you have to have video, you have to have these complex pictures, you have to have, no. What you have to have is an aesthetic. You have to have something that makes sense with your brand. This little curly Q up here with typeface, I think that's American Typewriter, that says the Creative Independent. That's it. So if you see down here, when you start looking at it, you'll go, oh, they have interviews, they have essays, they have tips, they have zines in here, but it all kind of looks uniform. There's the zine section. There's a zine. It's all digital. Okay. When you go to essays, these are essays. See how they all have a similar vibe? And actually, if you go essay, 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 you'll find all the essays look exactly the same. All the interviews look exactly the same. When we talk about integrated marketing, this is an example right here. They maintain this very basic, very blocky. You don't have tons of pictures. There's a picture in there, but see, it's like their stuff it's the same thing. They let their content speak for them. But if you go to, so that was interviews. If you go to essays, looks very similar, right? But does it? Look at the top. All of the interview ones have the black. Okay. All of the interviews, that was all the essays have the black. All the interviews have the different colors each time. See, there it is. If we look at focuses, this is what it looks like. There we go. See, you can see it playing out. So when we talk about curb appeal, when we talk about what the rooms of your house look like, they are doing very much minimalist, and they're keeping that vibe. Will that work for you? Maybe not. Maybe you need to have something more. You have a company that installs crown molding in houses. You do that, not going to work. Got to have pictures. Got to have testimonials. But keep it consistent. If you take them and you really look at what they're doing and then take what you're doing and boil it down and say, am I consistent the way they are? If you go to my podcasts, do they have this similar vibe? When you go to my blog, does it have this similar vibe? If they walk into my business, does it have this look? Even within your business, when we start talking about having your different rooms, I'm not talking about the marketing. I'm talking about in your physical business. I went into a comic store called Alley Cats Comics, as opposed to Alley Chats, which is my podcast. And I went in and they have their racks of comics. They have a certain vibe in there. It's been the same forever. It's got the exposed brick, and then they have the racks, and they have their toys kind of around, gaming stuff over here. But it all has a certain look to the fixtures and everything, right? That's one big room. Actually, the gaming section is slightly different. Even though it's in the same room, you move into there and it's a Tide vibe, just like you saw in Creative Independent, but it's different. Okay, it's obviously thought out. We want to create a different feel in this space. Similar, so it doesn't seem disjointed. They know it's Alley Cats, but different. But now they took the bathroom and they converted it into a little shop that sells like tarot cards and witchy stuff. When you go in there, it still feels like you're in Alley Cats, even though it's a product that's completely different. It has the vibe. So they're literally taking the blueprint and saying, how do we integrate these, make everything tie? It's delivering. When I say delivering a message, it doesn't mean sale or it's Summerween. That's an integrated message you could do. I'm talking from peeling it back to just the look, feel, interaction of the business. They're taking, this is gaming, This is witchy. This is comics. All three places you're in Alley Cats, but all three are different. So the experience, the user experience, they think of it those ways. When we had our store, we used to have a baby store. We sold furniture, we sold clothing, we sold accessories and strollers, we sold gifty items, we sold toys and books. If you came and shopped in our store, yes, they might be in the same room, and yes, they might even be the toys are all on one side and the books are on the other, and the thing is down the middle. But every section we treated as if it was its own unique animal. Not something that we really shared, other than Maeve and I would, after hours, go, okay, when you walk in, books are to the right. We want to sell books, so we put them to the right. People go to the right when they walk in a store. There's a book called Why We Buy, Why We Shop. Why We Buy is the one you want, by Paco Underhill. Whole college course is taught about this. And one of the big takeaways right in the beginning is they analyzed people walking into stores, and they found that like 90% went to the right and looked at whatever was there to the right. So if you want something to move, put it to the right. If you want to catch people's attention, put it to the right. So we not only played with those ideas, what do they see when they walk in? What does the 90% look at? What's going to draw them here? But we tried to make it so it was each different enough that they were different vibes. They were different parts of the store. And proof of this, because this is something that we talked about a lot, was the customers that even would be in the store and go, oh, I didn't realize, like, I always come here to buy clothes. I didn't realize you guys had furniture. How could you not realize we have this massive furniture store in here? But their user experience, they were there for clothing the first time, and they went, clothing, it's a clothing store. Once again, proof of this, Chicago Magazine, one year we were in for 3 different categories: best kids clothing store in the city, best baby store in the city, best toy store in the city. They got pushback because we're not any of those things. Baby store we were. But we are not, like, there was a clothing store around the corner that was really upset with Chicago Magazine, and they complained to them and said, I'm a clothing store. They're not. I'm a clothing store that has a few accessories around. They are a department store, basically. Well, we are and we're not. Because we treated each section as if it was its own store. We worked that curb appeal like crazy. You looked at our store. We were in Chicago. We were right by Wrigley Field, right down the street. Okay. And yeah, okay, maybe not that close. Close enough. Right across from Children's Memorial Hospital. Okay. That's where we were. It's not there anymore, but that's where we were. And we did things like we painted the outside a certain color. We played with our windows all the time. That's like a lost art. Windows I see, I shouldn't say that. When we were traveling, when we were in France, we had a layover, and we were like in a train station, and there they had all these shops. The shops, they did the windows right. I took pictures of all the windows because they made them, they made great windows out of them. Whereas now, like, I walk down in Chicago and it's like, here's our stuff. Like, no, you're not making, or they're putting up the same signage and bull crap that their corporate sent them. That's not window art. We treated it like art because we wanted people to see it and go, wow, okay. Not only do they have umbrellas and they have a sale thing, but they've created a window. And they've thought the whole thing out. We would think it all out. Can you see through it enough? Is it drawing your eyes here? What colors are we using? Like all that stuff. It all matters. And if at that time, that was so early in all this, there really wasn't, there was internet, but nothing like now. We had aesthetics to our website, which we didn't like. It's okay. but we didn't have the knowledge to change it. It was so expensive to get it changed. So it was like, it was okay. It was good, but it wasn't us. If we were to do it now, it'd be very different. But if it was now, we would have a blog, and the blog would have its own distinct thing. You would interact with it. You know it's us, but it would be a different entry point, a different thing. I'm developing it right now for Southgate Media Group. I'm going back and going to start sending out our newsletter again. Our newsletter was pretty good. I've got a new way of doing it, much better. And we're going to try to make that go so that we have new episodes and we have old stuff. And I want people to be able to tell what they're interacting with. Take our YouTube channel. We've started adding a thing where it's got an icon. Maybe I can show you. I can. Okay, here we go. No, I want to open it. I don't want to. I want it to play. Okay, here I'm going to show you guys this. Let's close that. Stop screen. Share another one. Okay, so in the thinking about it, one thing we have done is, there we go. This is a show I just put up literally before we jumped on. I interviewed this guy, and 30 minutes later, edited, posted, up and in the air. So one of the things I noticed was our watch time wasn't very good, and it never has been. And I went back and I started changing the artwork. I'll show you the artwork in a second. But on the episodes themselves, I think where a problem was is people didn't know what they were getting. They'd click on it and they'd bail out in 20 seconds because it didn't have any video. It just had a picture. We added this audio only version. Guess what? It's making a difference. It's really definitely making a difference. Now here, we'll go to the channel. Okay. There's our vibe. We made it nice and clean, very minimalist. Okay. There's the show we're watching right now. So look at these covers. Okay. We have upped the game on the covers. If you go back to our old stuff, look at these. They look great. Look at this. It looks great. The ones I haven't done yet look like just a logo. These look great. These look like video things. I go to these and I was dialing it in. I didn't have it on. I think these are terrible. When we go back in time, here, let's go to a playlist. I could probably do it from there. We go back in time to our old stuff. Okay, that's not going to do it. But if you can see along this, yeah, see, these are not good. They don't fill the screen. They do have a vibe to them. They have a look, but then some of them don't. Like this one. Okay. So I'm working on, when you go to our channel, you'll have a playlist and you'll see this aesthetically pleasing thing that tells you exactly what it is. It's if you see that logo, that little audio thing, you know it's an audio only version. If you don't see it, it's a video version. If it doesn't say like it's going to say, like this is an interview with Joey Powell, very clear from the Inkplots podcast. It's in the playlist. It has the logo. It has the name. It has him. Now you know what you're getting. I think that's going to make our numbers go up. More than think it. I already know it well. What are the things in your business like that? Because we all have them. We all have them. You're a retail store, walk through. Look at each thing as if you're the customer. Listen to what people say. Watch what they interact with. It's like a website. I don't know if you guys know this, but so there's the SEO, which is the search engine optimization. That's where you put, briefly, you put your keywords in, you do things to the art, like you have artwork on there and you put certain things in the alt text, you certain H1, H2, H3 tags. There's all this technical stuff that you might not have to worry about. But that's an area of opportunity, right? Just like this. Are you doing those things? Are you putting links in? So on my blog, I've been experimenting. I've been using some emojis. Turns out those emojis do certain things. I didn't know that. I just found that out. Because they're emojis that are coming from Google, like they're the emojis on the blog site. Google understands if it has this, it means you're saying a link here. You're saying audio here. And it does help it narrow down what you're searching for. I'm searching for a podcast about lava lamps. Even the icon on there can tell Google, oh, this is going to be an audio. It's going to be a podcast. It says the word lava lamp multiple times. It's in an H1 tag. It's in an H3 tag. Okay. We're touching on that. We'll get more involved in that as we do integrated marketing palooza. That's not happy hour. Let's see if there's any questions at this point. I don't think so, though. No. That's okay. Okay. I think I've babbled on long enough about this stuff. We don't need to have an hour-long show tonight. This was a test. What I'm going to ask you to do is follow New Media Lab on Facebook. I put up polls before. I've asked questions there. Follow New Media Lab on YouTube. There's a New Media Lab page. It's got its own page as opposed to the other Southgate Media Group stuff. So you can go there and you can interact with me. You can follow me. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Threads. Follow me on Blue Sky. I'm on all those things. Follow me on Instagram. Just look up Rob Southgate or Robert Southgate. Look up SMG Pods or Southgate Media Group. We're there. We're there. You'll find us and you'll see all the cool stuff I'm doing. We have a Buy Me Coffee. It mentioned it in here. Oh, wait, there's the Patreon. We have a Patreon. We've just started adding content to that again. So if you want to help support us, that's a way to do it. You know, it's not that you're buying something. It's that you're supporting what we're doing. Throw $5 in a month. I know it seems like, well, what am I getting for that? You're getting us to continue doing this is what you're getting. You like this. You're watching it. $5 on Patreon. That fuels us. That goes a long way. And the more we get there, we have goals. If we're getting $100 a month, we're going to do some extra things. If we're getting $5 a month or $2 a month, we can't really put efforts into Patreon. And then it's just support for a couple of bucks. For Buy Me Coffee, Buy Me a Coffee, what we've been doing there, and it's getting a lot of traction. We don't have any followers there yet. Nobody's paying. So we want to get people supporting us there. You can throw in $1. Throw in $1 a month. You won't feel it. It's going to add up for us. It's going to help. When we did a Kickstarter before, we did it between our Patreon and our Kickstarter. It's what allowed us to get this microphone. It allowed us to get a mixing board for our live events. So we did a Kickstarter for an event we did, and we were able to buy lighting, stuff that we never use, but we have used it, but it's rarely used. But man, when we need it, it is really important that we have it. And it's that support that gives us the money to be able to do that kind of stuff. So if you can throw us a couple of bucks, Buy Me a Coffee /smgpods.com, Patreon, Southgate Media Group on Patreon. There it is, Southgate Media Group on Patreon. And interact with me and let me know what you think about this format. If you want lecture-y stuff, if you just want AMA all the way around, if you're like, I hate Thursday night or I love Thursday night, anything you want to tell me, trust me, I will not be offended. And we're starting to rebuild and revamp our website. So go to southgatemediagroup.com. We're going to try and we used to put blog posts and stuff there that were really cool and really different. We haven't been doing much with it. We're going to start cleaning it up so you can update and get some new blog and podcast goodness there as well. We want to bring you the whole experience. And like I said, Buy Me a Coffee, we've been adding, I've been sending out emails to the different podcasters. We had over 100 of them. Just say, hey, give us an update. Where are you at? Here's 5 questions. What show were you on? What was your favorite experience? What are you doing now? That way, if you're a fan of Brandon's, you could say, hey, man, what are you doing? Well, he did video game podcasts for us. He's still doing stuff in that world. It's really cool. Or he'll do like a Twitch show and he'll do the Extra Life thing where he raises money for charity. Great. It's through like Buy Me a Coffee that we're able to tell you that stuff. So you can go and you can, see this guy that you really liked and interact and get an update. So I know that we love that. We actually, we're big fans of Survivor. And at one point we had an idea we were going to do a show called Back from Reality. And we were just going to interview just short interviews. If they were on a season of Survivor, they were on a season of Amazing Race, we contact them. Hey, where are you at now? That was going to be it. With a little like, what happened in your season? Any dirt? It was too big a project that we just kind of went, let's leave that alone. But the reality is people love those updates. We love those updates. You can get them at our Buy Me a Coffee right now. And we've just started adding some of the podcasts there to see. Maybe that's what people want. Maybe people want original content on there. We had a show designed literally for Buy Me a Coffee that would only live there. We're happy to do that. We just got to have some support. Okay, I sound like PBS now. We need your support. You can get this coffee mug no, I don't have a coffee mug to give you. We get higher support? Maybe I do. Here's one of our mugs that we created. We sell these. I Love Indie Podcasts. It's on TeePublic at the Southgate Media Group TeePublic page. Now I'm going to have to put that in the show notes, right? All right. Oh, the Mug of Destiny is still there. That was something we created on the show. Okay, that's it. Enough hawking. And if you guys are interested in coaching, I am doing a greatly discounted rate because of the state of the world right now. I want to help people succeed, and they need more than just watching this. They need some one-on-one. So I've taken my normal rate and dropped it way down temporarily to try to help you guys. So if you're interested in getting some coaching, getting some consulting for your marketing, reach out to me at any of the places I mentioned. You could go to southgatesmallbusiness.com and reach me directly through there. You could go to the podcastprofs.com and reach me directly through there. You can go to my Substacks, which are under Rob Southgate Substacks. Just type me in and you'll get all these different Substacks. Wherever you reach out to me, you could send me an email. Send it to rob@smgpods.com or just send it to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. It all gets to me. It all comes this way. And we'll hook you up. We'll do some consulting for you. We'll find out if it's a good fit and if I can actually help you. And if I can, let's do this thing. All right. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. And I will see you Saturday morning, bright and early. Have your coffee. All right. Thanks, everybody.